shadow longer than you've realized. That shadow isn't someone else. It's the version of yourself that clings to yesterday, that refuses to loosen its grip on the habits, the fears, and the excuses that have shaped your days until now. And until that old self dies, the new one cannot breathe. Imagine carrying a corpse on your back everywhere you go, every step you take. It slows you down. You can dress it in fine clothes, pretend it belongs, but it rots and weighs you down just the same. You will never rise while chained to what you've outgrown. The only way to ascend is to bury what no longer serves you. That is the law, and no one has ever broken it. Look at history, at men and women who have reached greatness. None of them carried their old self to the summit. They shed it like a snake discards its skin. The timid student became the bold leader because he chose to let timidity die. The laborer became the master because he buried the voice that whispered, "Stay where it's safe." Every transformation required a funeral, the end of an old identity. This is why so many never rise. They want to keep both lives at once. They want to taste freedom, but cling to their chains. They want to soar with the wings of eagles while clutching the ground with the talons of a coward. But nature will not allow it. The law is set. What you are not willing to let die, you cannot outgrow. We talk about dreams, about goals, about ambition, but we forget the price. The price is always the death of who you were. The dreamer must die so the achiever can live. The follower must perish so the leader can be born. This truth is not poetic, it is not abstract, it is practical, and as clear as the rising of the sun. If you insist on keeping yesterday alive, tomorrow will never arrive. If you feed both selves, the old and the new, one will eventually consume the other. And if you are not deliberate, the old self, nourished by your hesitation, will devour the future self you secretly long for. This is why men stay average. This is why women settle for less. They refuse to perform the burial. They polish the mask of their old habits, convincing themselves change is happening, when in truth they are circling the same rut, calling it progress. To rise, you must decide, once and for all, that the old you no longer exists. Say it, write it, engrave it, the old me is gone. Because the moment you declare it, you force the new self to step forward, trembling perhaps, uncertain maybe, but alive. And life, no matter how fragile, is stronger than any ghost of the past. You may say, but isn't change gradual? It is not. Change happens in a moment, in a decision, in a vow. Growth is gradual, yes, but change, the instant you kill what no longer belongs, is immediate. It's a guillotine, not a candle melting. The farmer doesn't negotiate with weeds, he tears them out. The captain doesn't beg the anchor to loosen, he cuts the chain. And you must be as ruthless with yourself. A single decision. Today the old me dies, and the soil where I bury him will nourish the roots of who I am meant to become. If you listen closely, you'll hear that inner protest. The old self always resists. It whispers, but what about comfort? What about the familiar? What about the easy road? Those whispers are lies, echoes of decay trying to seduce you back into mediocrity. Understand this. If you listen, you will lose. You must answer those whispers with truth. You must say, I am not who I was yesterday. I cannot remain what I have outgrown. The future demands my rebirth. Every great life has spoken this to itself, in different words, at different times, but the essence is always the same. The old must die for the new to live. Consider the law written not in books, but in life itself. A seed must split open to sprout. The caterpillar must dissolve before the butterfly can fly. Night must fall before morning comes. Death is the doorway to life. And yet when it comes to our own growth, we resist the very law that governs nature. We cling to the shell, to the soil, to the cocoon, pretending we can stay as we are and still taste the sky. It cannot be done. The law does not bend. You may delay it, but you cannot escape it. You must choose, cling and rot, or shed and rise. So here is the challenge, and I want you to take it seriously. Before you sleep tonight, write it on a piece of paper. Write, the old me is gone. Read it when you wake up. Whisper it to yourself when doubt strikes. Hold it before your eyes when temptation calls you back. And when you write it, do not treat it as words. Treat it as a death certificate. That old self, the one that fears, the one that delays, the one that accepts less, is no longer alive. You will mourn it for a moment, then you will rise without it. And now, as you listen to my voice, say this out loud. Say it as though you are signing a covenant with your own soul. I am one with discipline and courage, free of fear and doubt. Say it again, not as empty sound, but as law written into the marrow of your being. Say it, write it, and keep it close, for it will remind you that the old you has no more claim over your life. That self has died, and from this day forward you walk as the new creation you were destined to be. This is not inspiration, this is instruction. This is not mere motivation, this is the law of life. And when you align yourself with it, you rise. But when you resist it, you remain shackled. Decide today whether you will keep your corpse or bury it and be free. And as you decide, remember, the law does not wait for permission, it is already in motion. Only those who obey it rise. The rest remain among the forgotten. The moment you declare the death of the old self, the world will test you. It will not applaud. It will not throw open the gates of triumph. Instead, it will send storms, distractions, and temptations to see if your vow was hollow. This is the crucible where most falter, because they confuse discomfort with defeat. They think the opposition means they chose wrong, when in truth it means they chose correctly. A man who carries nothing draws no thieves, but a man who carries treasure is always hunted. The old you will not go quietly. It will claw at your mind, drag at your spirit, and whisper in your ear. That resistance is not a curse. It is proof that the new you has been born. Every great transformation begins with friction. Steel is forged in fire, not in comfort. Diamonds are formed under pressure, not in ease. If you expected applause, you are not ready. If you expected rest, you are not prepared. Rise requires tension, the tearing away of what once felt safe. And this is where the old you will disguise itself as reason. It will say, be practical, be patient. Don't be so extreme, but listen carefully. The voice of reason is often the mask of fear. And if you obey it, you return to chains. To silence that voice, you must speak a stronger word. Not a word of retreat, but a law. Say it, write it. I am unstoppable in the face of resistance, grounded in faith, moving forward without delay. Look at the lives of the strong, and you will see this law played out again and again. Abraham Lincoln suffered loss after loss before victory crowned him. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before the light appeared. They were tested, not because the universe opposed them, but because the universe demanded proof of their resolve. Every failure was the old self knocking at the door, asking to be let back in. But they refused, and so their destiny remained intact. This is the secret most miss. The battle is not against the world, it is against your own ghost. And if you conquer that ghost, the world bows. Think of it like a bridge that burns the moment you cross it. If you hesitate, you remain stranded between two shores, neither who you were nor who you are becoming. This limbo is the graveyard of dreams. It is filled with men who almost changed, women who nearly rose, souls who carried both selves and were torn apart by the weight. Do not stay on the bridge. Burn it and keep walking. The smoke may blind you, the heat may sting, but when the ashes settle, you will find yourself on the other side. Alone perhaps, but free. Freedom terrifies those who have never known it. The old you will remind you of the comfort of chains. Chains are heavy, but at least they are familiar. Freedom demands responsibility, courage, and solitude. And that is why so few rise. It is easier to polish the shackle than to face the burden of liberty. Yet every law of life points in the same direction. What you avoid becomes your prison. What you face becomes your freedom. So when the test comes, and it will, remember this: discomfort is not your enemy. It is the signpost that you are on the right road. This road will not be crowded. You will not find cheering crowds or constant encouragement. You may even be misunderstood, criticized, ridiculed. But listen closely. Ridicule is the applause of mediocrity when greatness begins to rise. If they laugh at you, it means you've left their level. If they resist you, it means you've stepped beyond their reach. Wear their mockery like armor, for it is the surest proof that the old you has no allies left in this world. From this moment on, you must walk with a different gait, speak with a different tone, carry yourself as one already reborn. And let me give you this truth, a law worth engraving. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, the old you dies again. Every time you speak courage instead of fear, the old you is buried deeper. Every time you move forward when you want to quit, the old you crumbles into dust. This is not a single death, but 1,000 little funerals. And each funeral makes you stronger. Each burial makes you lighter. Each refusal to return is another step toward the heights. Do not mistake this process for cruelty. It is mercy. It is life protecting you from the greatest tragedy, not failure, but stagnation. To stay the same is to rot while breathing. To refuse the call is to live dead. That is the fate of those who protect their old selves. But for those willing to endure the test, the reward is not only success, but transformation into something unrecognizable. The world sees it and calls it greatness. But you will know it as truth. You became who you were meant to be. And so in this second step of our journey, I leave you with a vow to inscribe into your spirit. Say it aloud and mean it with every fiber. I am free from the chains of my past, and nothing can drag me back. Speak it not once, but until your bones believe it. Write it where your eyes cannot escape it. Let it be the law you live by, for once it is written in your heart, the old you will howl in rage, but it will have no power. The new you will rise, tested but triumphant. The danger that lurks after your vow is not always open resistance. Sometimes it comes clothed in quiet comfort. The old self knows that if it cannot scare you back into submission, it may soothe you back into sleep. It will whisper, "You've done enough, you've proven your strength, now rest." But hear me well, comfort is the assassin of destiny. Nothing kills a man's future faster than his willingness to settle halfway up the mountain. You will be tempted to camp where the view is good, but if you stop climbing, the mountain will not move, the path will not shorten, the summit will not descend. The law remains unbroken, rise or be buried in the middle. Look at the countless who never arrived at greatness. They were not defeated by failure, but by satisfaction with mediocrity. They tasted a little success, a small improvement, and mistook it for the destination. They dressed the part, spoke the part, and convinced themselves they had arrived, while inside their potential rotted unused. This is the subtlest danger, for it feels pleasant, and pleasant things rarely look deadly. But ask yourself, are you truly alive if you stop before your purpose? Or are you merely embalming yourself in routines, pretending it is life? The old you thrives in this illusion, because it survives in disguise, wearing the clothes of progress but binding you in place. True rising demands vigilance. You cannot keep watch once a week, once a month when you feel like it. The guard must stand at the gate daily, refusing entry to thoughts, habits, and comforts that once enslaved you. And do not deceive yourself. One lapse, one indulgence, one careless return to yesterday's self can undo years of progress. Discipline is not punishment, it is protection. It is the sword that keeps the ghost of the old you from walking back into your life. Without it, the grave you dug yesterday becomes shallow, and the dead self claws its way back to the surface. This is why I say you must build rituals as strong as walls. Do not trust mere intention. Intention without structure dissolves. The farmer does not intend to harvest. He plants, he waters, he weeds. The builder does not intend to raise a house. He lays the foundation brick by brick. And so must you. Rise is not born in chance, it is born in structure. Wake with a plan, live with a code, close the day with reflection. These rituals are not optional. They are the scaffolding upon which the new you stands. Without them, you drift back into the shadows, and shadows are patient. When you feel the pull of old habits, remind yourself that every action is a vote for the man or woman you are becoming. Nothing is neutral. Each word spoken, each thought entertained, each decision made pushes you toward life or death. This is not melodrama, it is law. Say it, write it, repeat it. I am building the new me with every choice I make. And when you say it, feel the weight of responsibility and the fire of freedom. For if you truly believe this law, you will no longer excuse small lapses, you will no longer tolerate old patterns, because you will see them as daggers aimed at your own resurrection. Understand, too, that the climb is lonely. You will look around and see others content in the valley, content at the halfway point, and they will laugh at your relentless striving. They will say, "Why not rest? Why not be satisfied?" But mediocrity always mocks excellence because it feels judged by its presence. Do not bend to their voices. Do not let their comfort poison your hunger. You are not called to walk their path. You are called to rise, and the summit is not for those who crave approval, but for those who can endure misunderstanding. And remember, every mountain has false peaks, points that look like the summit but reveal more climb beyond them. When you reach them, the temptation will be strongest to stop, to say, "This is enough." But those who stop at the false peak never see the true horizon. They die believing they saw everything when in truth they saw only a glimpse. Your task is to push beyond the illusion, to press when others stop, to believe there is more even when your muscles beg for mercy. For the summit reveals itself only to those who refuse to be fooled by comfort. So let this truth sink deep. Vigilance is not temporary, it is lifelong. There is no arrival, no permanent safety. Life itself demands continual burial of the old self, daily guarding of the new, hourly choosing of the future. And if that feels heavy, remember the alternative. To stop is to rot. To let down your guard is to resurrect your prison. To surrender to comfort is to kill your destiny. Choose your weight, the burden of vigilance or the chains of decay. One will crush you, the other will carve you into greatness. As you breathe in these words, declare this law with conviction. Say it aloud. Let it echo in your room, in your mind, in your soul. I am vigilant. I do not rest on halfway mountains. I climb until the summit is mine. Write it where your eyes cannot escape it, where your heart cannot forget it. Let it remind you that the climb is not over until the peak is beneath your feet. That is the law of rising, and the law cannot be broken. The greatest deception of the old self is not fear, nor is it comfort. It is identity. It whispers that you are what you have always been, that no matter what words you speak, no matter what vows you write, you are chained to the history behind you. And if you accept that lie, you will never rise. The old self thrives by convincing you that change is unnatural, that you must stay consistent with who you were yesterday. But hear me, consistency with the past is death, and loyalty to yesterday is betrayal of tomorrow. You must refuse to be defined by your history. Your mistakes are not your name. Your failures are not your identity. You are not the echoes of your past. You are the author of your present decision. History is filled with men and women who defied their own narrative. Saul became Paul. A bankrupt man became one of the richest in his time. A poor, uneducated child became a leader of nations. They refused the trap of identity. They killed the name that chained them and wore the new name carved by purpose. But the world will not forget. The world will try to remind you. Old friends, family, even your own memories will call you back, saying, "You are who you have always been." They mean well, but they are the voice of the grave. The law is clear. If you answer to the name of your old self, you breathe life back into it. If you refuse, it remains buried. This is why discipline of thought is as important as discipline of action. What you call yourself, you become. If you continually label yourself as weak, broken, unlucky, cursed, you cement the tomb of your potential. But if you dare to speak new words, to declare new titles, you begin the process of becoming. This is not superstition, it is law. The mind does not argue with repetition, it obeys. Whatever phrase you carve into it becomes the script of your life. This is why I tell you, say it, write it, believe it. I am no longer who I was. I am a new creation, untouched by yesterday, unbound by failure. Repeat it until the bones of your being echo it. The tragedy is that most never change their inner name. They try to improve their habits but keep the old identity. They try to build new results but answer to the same label. It is like trying to sail a new ship with an anchor tied to the old port. They move a little, but they never cross oceans. Identity is the rudder, and until it changes, the voyage will always circle back. Do not polish the anchor. Cut it. Refuse to call yourself what you once were. Rise demands rebirth, and rebirth demands a new identity. Understand, too, that identity is not given, it is chosen. The world will try to name you, but the world has no authority unless you submit to it. The poor man can choose to call himself rich in discipline, and his wealth will begin in spirit before it manifests in coin. The weak man can choose to call himself strong in resolve, and his strength will build in flesh as it first grows in mind. The rejected woman can choose to call herself chosen, and she will attract the destiny that aligns with her declaration. You are not required to accept the name handed to you by circumstance. You have the right, even the responsibility, to rename yourself according to the law of who you are becoming. This renaming will feel like madness at first. You will speak words that do not match your current reflection. You will declare wealth while living in poverty. You will declare strength while still trembling. You will declare freedom while feeling the weight of chains. But remember, the caterpillar is a butterfly in truth before its wings appear. The seed is a tree in reality before the leaves break the soil. Speak what you are becoming, not what you are. For the law is this: what you continually declare becomes flesh. The world bends to the voice of identity. Do not be careless with this weapon. Every idle word is a seed, and every seed will grow. If you water bitterness, it will bloom. If you nourish doubt, it will multiply. But if you guard your words as a king guards his crown, then only life will spring forth. Make your declarations daily, as sacred vows. Write them, recite them, guard them. And when your old self knocks, do not open. When the world mocks, do not bend. Hold to your declaration until the world has no choice but to conform. This is not fantasy, it is law. So let me leave you with the vow of this chapter. Say it aloud, with the gravity of someone renaming their soul. I am not the person of yesterday. I am the person of tomorrow, alive today. Speak it again until your voice trembles, not with doubt, but with certainty. Write it on your walls, your journal, your heart. For once you rename yourself, the old self starves. Once you declare your future identity, the past no longer has a throne. The rise does not begin in the body, nor in the wallet, nor in the world around you. It begins in the unseen place, in the echo of your own voice. And when that echo speaks life, nothing, not memory, not failure, not opposition, can stop your ascent. The old you is dead the moment you cease to call it alive, and the new you is born the moment you dare to speak its name into existence. That is the law, and the law will not fail you. The old self clings most desperately through habits, those repeated motions that seem small, harmless routine. A habit is not just something you do, it is something you become. It is a thread that when woven daily becomes a chain, and until you tear those chains apart, you will never rise. Do not underestimate them. The old you hides inside habits, repeating its control through the things you do without thinking. It is not always the great failures that hold you down, but the little actions done 1,000 times without resistance. The cigarette, the late rising, the wasted hour, the thought indulged again and again, each one is a whisper of the past, dragging you back into the grave you swore to leave behind. To rise, you must replace the ritual of decay with the ritual of discipline. Habits are not destroyed by willpower alone. They are starved and replaced. A man does not stop being lazy by hating laziness. He stops by practicing discipline until laziness is starved of breath. A woman does not stop doubting herself by despising her fear. She stops by practicing courage until fear no longer has ground to stand on. Habits bow to replacement, not resentment. The law is this: whatever you consistently practice, you become. If you feed weakness, weakness grows. If you feed strength, strength takes root. That is why your habits are not just motions, they are declarations of who you are becoming. Most people believe they can rise without changing what they do daily. They dream at night of greatness but repeat by day the patterns of mediocrity. This contradiction is the grave of potential. The truth is plain: you cannot have the life of a lion with the habits of a sheep. You cannot rise with the routines of the old self. This is why so many fail. They speak new words but live old patterns. They declare change but obey yesterday's schedule. Their tongue is reborn but their hands remain enslaved. But rising requires unity. The word and the deed must align. Until you do both, you will always be split in two, half alive, half dead. Understand this: your environment feeds your habits. The old self thrives in the same places, with the same people, with the same triggers. If you remain in that soil, the weeds return, no matter how many times you pluck them. Change requires not only new habits, but new environments that make those habits inevitable. Remove the triggers that resurrect the old you. Do not play with temptation and call it strength. Strength is not standing in fire and refusing to burn. Strength is choosing not to step into the fire at all. If you are serious about rising, you must design your life so that the old self cannot survive in it. This is why it is said, "Show me your daily routine, and I will show you your destiny." You do not need prophecy to know your future. Look at what you repeatedly do. Your rise or your fall is written in your morning, in your afternoon, in your evening. It is in what you practice when no one is watching. The man who spends hours sharpening his mind cannot help but become sharp. The woman who builds discipline into every sunrise cannot help but grow strong. The law does not bend. The secret to rising is buried in the ordinary acts of each day. But hear this warning. The old self will try to disguise itself as small indulgences. It will whisper, "Just this once, just today, just a little." But the grave does not open in one moment. It opens with small cracks. The chains are not forged in a day, but link by link. Do not allow the little to deceive you. Each little indulgence is a seed, and seeds grow into forests. If you sow weakness, do not be surprised when you are surrounded by it. The law of the seed is the law of the self. As you sow, so shall you reap. If you plant the same actions, you will harvest the same life. So now I ask you, what seeds are you sowing? What rituals do you practice daily? Are they the rituals of the old you, or the rituals of the self you long to become? If the answer shames you, good. Let the shame burn the old self to ashes. Do not excuse, do not delay, do not hope for tomorrow. Plant the new seed today. Rise is not found in the distant future, it is born in the present act. A single new habit, done today, repeated tomorrow, becomes the foundation of your new life. I want you now to take out your pen, your paper, and write these words: "I am the creator of new habits, and each day I rise through them." Say it aloud, speak it with conviction, repeat it until your heart no longer doubts it. For when your mouth declares it, your mind believes it, and when your mind believes it, your body follows. This is not empty ritual. It is the law of cause and effect, the law that governs all who rise. Do not despise the small beginnings, for greatness is nothing but the accumulation of small disciplines, stacked day upon day, until they tower above the world. And do not ignore the small failures, for decay is nothing but the accumulation of small indulgences piled until they bury you alive. Choose this day which stack you will build. The world will not decide for you. The universe will not bend the law. What you practice daily you will become. The old you practiced weakness. The new you must practice strength. The choice is yours, and it is made not once but every hour, every habit, every breath. There is another weapon the old self will use to keep its throne: memory. It will drag out the catalog of your past and lay it before you like evidence in a trial. It will remind you of the times you failed, the times you broke promises, the times you fell short. And if you are not careful, you will bow to this courtroom of ghosts. But listen carefully. Memory is not destiny. The past is not a prophecy. It is only a record, and records can be rewritten by the actions of today. The old you wants you to believe that yesterday's patterns decide tomorrow's path. But the law of life is stronger than the law of memory. What you repeatedly choose today becomes who you are, not what you stumbled through yesterday. The mind clings to stories. We all walk through life wearing narratives we tell ourselves. I am not disciplined. I always fail. I am unlucky. These stories become prisons, and the cruelest part is that we are both the prisoners and the wardens. But here is the truth. A story has no power until you retell it. If you refuse to speak it, if you refuse to dwell on it, if you dare to replace it with a new story, the old one fades. You cannot erase memory, but you can starve it of power. Refuse to let yesterday's scars predict today's strength. The law is simple. What you rehearse, you relive. And what you refuse to rehearse loses its grip on your soul. Do not misunderstand. Memory can be a teacher, but it must never be your ruler. Learn from it, yes. Take the lesson, discard the weight. The soldier remembers the battle, but does not carry the corpses home. The student remembers the exam, but moves forward to greater knowledge. You too must remember wisely. When memory rises to accuse you, respond not with shame, but with command. Say, I am not that story anymore. I am not the mistakes of my past. I am the choices of this moment. Speak it until the voice of memory grows faint. Identity is not backward looking. It is forward speaking. The old self loves to hide behind guilt. Guilt is a chain disguised as morality. It keeps you kneeling in the grave of your mistakes, unable to rise, convinced that you must serve a sentence long after the penalty has been paid. But guilt is not justice, it is bondage. True justice is the lesson learned, the transformation chosen. Do not serve a life sentence for crimes already buried. The law of life demands movement, not stagnation. If you are still here, if you still breathe, it is because your destiny has not been completed, and destiny does not consult your failures before it calls your name. Consider this. Every oak tree was once a seed buried in dirt. If you judged the seed by its burial, you would call it dead. But in truth, the burial was preparation for life. Your past mistakes are not graves, they are plantings. The dirt that covered you was not to smother you, but to prepare you. And if you rise now, if you choose new actions now, that burial becomes the birthplace of your strength. This is why many who fail early rise the highest later. They refuse to see their past as death, but as seed. The old you wants you to see dirt as a coffin. The new you sees it as soil. And so the question is not, what did I do yesterday? But what will I decide today? The past cannot be undone, but today is yours, and it is powerful. Say it aloud, write it, engrave it. I am not the memory of my failures. I am the creator of my future. Let those words be the sword you draw when memory attacks. Each time you declare it, the grip of the old you loosens, the courtroom of ghosts falls silent, and the gavel of destiny strikes in your favor. Beware, though, of nostalgia, for it is another mask of the past. Nostalgia will tell you the old days were better, that your comfort was sweeter, that your routines were easier. But nostalgia is a liar. It edits the past, removing the pain and magnifying the pleasure, tricking you into longing for chains. Remember clearly, the old you brought you nothing but limitation. Do not romanticize your prison. Do not polish the chains that once bruised your wrists. If you return, you will only repeat the cycle, and the cycle will not be kinder the second time. Nostalgia is poison sweetened with memory. Do not drink it. The rise requires a new allegiance, not to the past, but to the promise. Allegiance to memory enslaves, allegiance to destiny frees, and allegiance is not passive, it must be renewed daily. Each morning you must choose again. Will I live today as the echo of yesterday, or as the architect of tomorrow? This is not a choice made once. It is made with every sunrise, with every decision, with every breath, and each choice chisels you into the form of your future self. So let me place this vow in your hands to say and to write, to carve into the marrow of your identity. I am free from the prison of my past. I live only in the power of today. Speak it until your lips grow tired. Write it until your paper runs dry. Let it echo until the old self has no voice left to answer. For the day you stop answering to the past is the day you begin your true rise. The old self has yet another disguise, more cunning than fear, more subtle than comfort, more dangerous than memory. It appears as doubt. Doubt is the quiet assassin that creeps into your mind when no one is watching. It does not scream, it whispers. It does not strike openly, it corrodes silently. Doubt will make you question your worth, your ability, your very right to rise, and if you accept its verdict, you will collapse before you even begin. Doubt is not truth. Doubt is the echo of the old self, still trying to bind you with invisible ropes. The law is clear. What you believe, you become. If you continually believe doubt, you continually become smaller than your destiny. The tragedy is that doubt often disguises itself as wisdom. It says, be realistic, don't aim too high, stay safe. But wisdom builds while doubt paralyzes. Wisdom prepares while doubt delays. Wisdom strengthens while doubt weakens. Learn to tell the difference. When your inner voice tells you to shrink, to hide, to wait for a more convenient time, that is not wisdom, it is sabotage. And if you obey it, you will spend years digging graves for dreams that could have been alive. Doubt does not keep you safe, it keeps you trapped. Its only goal is to resurrect the old self and bury the new one before it can take its first breath. But here lies the paradox. Doubt cannot be destroyed by argument, for it feeds on attention. The more you debate with it, the stronger it becomes. You conquer doubt not by wrestling with it, but by replacing it with faith. Faith is not blind hope. It is disciplined vision. It is choosing to see the unseen as if it were already here. Faith is saying, I will not wait to believe until I see. I will believe, and because I believe, I will see. That is the law. The man of faith plants before he sees the harvest. The woman of faith builds before she sees the city. Faith moves first, and the world follows. You may ask, but what if I am wrong? Understand this, there is greater tragedy in never moving than in moving and adjusting along the way. The old self thrives on hesitation, feeding on your reluctance to act. Every moment you delay, the ghost grows stronger. Every action you take, no matter how small, starves it. The law is motion. Even imperfect motion builds momentum, while hesitation multiplies decay. You cannot think your way out of doubt, but you can act your way out of it. Each bold step silences the voice of hesitation until it fades into nothingness. This is why I tell you to begin before you are ready, speak before you feel confident, walk before you feel steady, build before you feel certain. For certainty is the reward of action, not the prerequisite. The old you waits for perfection, and in waiting rots. The new you acts, and in acting becomes perfect. The law is not that the strong succeed, it is that the ones who act become strong. Action creates the very thing doubt tells you that you lack. And yet, action without declaration is weak. You must tie your actions to words that shape identity. This is why I ask you now, in this very moment, to speak a new law into yourself. Say it, write it, engrave it. I am stronger than my doubt. I believe in the future I cannot yet see. Let these words become a shield when the whispers come. Let them rise in your chest when fear tries to strangle your vision. Say them until your doubt has no language left to speak. Do not expect the whispers to vanish overnight. They will return again and again. But with each return, you will be stronger, your faith deeper, your vision clearer. The old self will tire of trying to resurrect itself when it sees you unmoved by its shadows. Remember, shadows have no substance. They are only proof that light is near. Doubt is the shadow, and faith is the light. The stronger the faith, the brighter the light, the weaker the shadow. And when you walk in faith long enough, you will notice something profound. The world begins to respond. Opportunities appear where none existed. People emerge who echo your belief. Doors open as if they were waiting only for your courage to knock. This is not magic, it is alignment. The law of life rewards the one who refuses to bow to doubt. Faith is the currency of destiny, and those who spend it never remain poor. So I leave you with this vow for your journey. Speak it aloud until it echoes beyond doubt's reach. I am a creator of faith, and through my belief, I command my future. Say it again louder until your heart feels its truth. Write it down where you cannot escape it. For doubt dies when faith is lived, and the new you rises every time you choose to believe. The old self has yet another weapon, one that has broken more destinies than failure, comfort, memory, or doubt combined. It is distraction, not the loud, obvious kind, but the subtle drift of attention toward the meaningless. Distraction is the thief that does not break your door. It leaves it open and waits for you to wander away. The old you knows it cannot always scare you, so it scatters your focus. It fills your hours with the urgent instead of the important, with noise instead of direction, with endless motion instead of forward movement. And this, more than anything, keeps people bound. They are not defeated, they are diluted. Their energy leaks into 1,000 cracks, never concentrated enough to break through. Understand this law. Energy without focus is wasted. A river scattered into 100 streams dries before reaching the sea. But a river forced into one channel carves canyons and powers cities. Your life is the same. If you divide your strength among distractions, you remain shallow, harmless, ordinary. If you aim it toward a single purpose, you cut through mountains. The old self thrives when you scatter. The new you rises when you concentrate. And concentration is not natural. It is chosen, daily, in defiance of every temptation that begs for your time. Most will never rise because they confuse busyness with progress. They fill calendars, chase noise, answer every demand, and at the end of the day wonder why their life has not moved an inch. Do not be deceived. Motion is not progress. Noise is not growth. The old self loves busyness because it looks like effort without requiring change. To break free, you must cut the unnecessary with the precision of a surgeon. Ask yourself, does this act feed my rise or does it feed my decay? And if it feeds decay, cut it without mercy. The law is brutal but true. Anything that does not serve your ascent serves your fall. This is why clarity is more powerful than motivation. Motivation without clarity is like fire without direction. It burns hot but quickly fades. Clarity channels the fire, sustains it, and drives it forward. You cannot rise while chasing 10 mountains at once. Choose one and climb it with ruthless focus. The world will tempt you with 1,000 paths, each glittering, each demanding. But if you chase all of them, you arrive at none. The old you was scattered. The new you must be singular. Consider the greats of history, those who bent reality to their will. They were not scattered. They chose a vision and poured everything into it. Their focus looked like madness to those who lived diluted lives. And it must be so with you. You cannot expect the approval of the distracted while you pursue the disciplined. They will call you obsessed. They will call you strange. They will call you extreme. But obsession in the right direction is the price of greatness, and dilution is the price of mediocrity. Choose your price. Now I ask you, what consumes your hours? What steals your focus? Is it endless noise, idle scrolling, shallow conversations, meaningless tasks? These are not harmless. They are assassins of destiny dressed as entertainment. Each one drains the strength you need for your rise. Do not underestimate them. 1,000 small leaks will sink a ship as surely as one great hole. Guard your attention as you would guard treasure, for it is the currency of your future. And here lies the truth. You will never rise until you master attention. You can control nothing in life until you first control where your mind rests. If you cannot govern your thoughts, you cannot govern your destiny. The new you must learn to direct attention like a general commands an army, deliberately, decisively, with no tolerance for deserters. This is why daily rituals matter. They discipline the mind, they tether it to vision, they remind it of purpose when distraction comes knocking. Without rituals, you are prey. With them, you are commander. So now, speak this vow aloud, write it on your paper, let it engrave itself into your mind. I am focused, untouched by distraction, and my energy serves only my rise. Say it until every distraction loses its power, until your mind sharpens like a blade, until your vision becomes unbreakable. For once your attention belongs wholly to you, nothing can stop your ascent. Remember, the old you was scattered, weak, pulled in every direction. The new you is concentrated, sharp, unstoppable. One beam of light focused can cut steel. One life focused can carve destiny. Choose your focus, guard it with your life, and rise. The old self has one more weapon to wield before it dies, and it is the most insidious of all, fear of isolation. The moment you begin to rise, you will notice something. The higher you climb, the fewer people you find at your side. The valley is crowded, the halfway point is noisy, but the summit is almost always silent. This silence frightens the old you, because it feeds on the comfort of the crowd. It tells you that to walk alone is to be wrong, that to lose the approval of others is to lose your worth. And if you accept this lie, you will turn back down the mountain, not because you lacked strength, but because you lacked solitude. Understand this: every ascent demands separation. Eagles do not rise in flocks. They soar alone where the air is thin, where the wings of ordinary birds cannot reach. If you cling to the crowd, you will remain grounded. If you fear their absence, you will never know your presence. The old self thrives on belonging to the herd. The new you must thrive on belonging to truth. The law is clear. No man can walk two roads at once. If you walk the road of the crowd, you forfeit the road of destiny. If you walk the road of destiny, you must leave the crowd behind. The world will resist your separation. Friends may mock, family may misunderstand, strangers may resent. They will say, "You've changed." And they will be right. That is the point. To rise is to change so completely that those who cling to the old you no longer recognize you. Do not seek their recognition. Do not beg for their approval. The old you sought validation. The new you seeks elevation, and the two cannot coexist. If you must choose between applause and ascent, always choose ascent. Applause fades, the summit remains. But solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is the absence of people. Solitude is the presence of purpose. When you are aligned with your vision, when your spirit is locked onto destiny, you are never truly alone. You walk with truth, with faith, with the very law of life itself. And this companionship is greater than the shallow company of the crowd. Those who fear solitude never discover this power. They run back to noise, to distraction, to comfort, and the old self smiles, because it knows they will never rise. Ask yourself now, do you fear being misunderstood? Do you crave approval? Do you tremble at the thought of walking alone? If so, know that the old self still holds chains on you. Break them. Stand tall in the silence. Let their absence become your strength. For it is in solitude that clarity sharpens, that vision strengthens, that character hardens. The summit is won not by those who crave company, but by those who can carry silence as a crown. This law has no exceptions. Moses climbed the mountain alone. Christ went into the wilderness alone. Every leader, every thinker, every soul who rose carried silence before they carried power. The path of solitude is not punishment, it is preparation. If you cannot stand alone, you cannot stand at all. And if you cannot stand at all, you cannot rise. Do not curse the silence. Embrace it. It is not emptiness, it is the womb of greatness. So I ask you, will you choose the crowd or the climb? Will you descend for approval or ascend for purpose? One path gives you belonging today, the other gives you immortality tomorrow. The law is merciless but fair. Those who need applause die with the crowd. Those who endure solitude rise with the great. Choose carefully, for your choice echoes not only in your life but in your legacy. Now declare this vow with the gravity of someone sealing their fate. Say it aloud, write it with unshakable certainty. I am not afraid to walk alone. My purpose is greater than their approval. Speak it until the words carve courage into your bones. Let them become your shield when mockery comes, your anchor when silence feels heavy, your torch when the path grows dark. For once you master solitude, nothing remains to stop your ascent. The old you feared being alone because it could not survive without company. The new you thrives in silence because it carries its purpose within. And when you walk with purpose, even in solitude, you are never truly alone. You walk with destiny itself, and destiny is company enough. The final weapon of the old self is the most deceptive, for it appears not as an enemy but as a friend. It comes as compromise. Not the grand collapse, not the obvious surrender, but the quiet bargain you make with yourself to let just a piece of the old you remain alive. You say, I will rise, but I will keep this one comfort. I will ascend, but I will still cling to this habit, this excuse, this weakness. And in that compromise, the old you survives. Like a spark left in ashes, it waits, it grows, and in time it burns your progress to the ground. Do not be fooled. Partial death is no death at all. The old self must be buried entirely, or it will always return. The law is merciless in this. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot be half old and half new. You cannot walk in two directions and expect to arrive. The moment you allow compromise, you plant a seed of decay in your future. That seed does not die, it waits. And when the storm comes, it takes root and drags you back to where you began. Many who nearly rose fell not because they lacked vision, not because they lacked strength, but because they allowed compromise to remain. They built a new life on an old foundation, and when the weight of destiny pressed down, the cracks appeared and swallowed them whole. Understand this clearly. Rising is not an act of addition. It is an act of subtraction. It is not about piling new ideas on top of the old. It is about cutting away until only the true self remains. The sculptor does not add stone to reveal the statue. He removes it, and you must do the same. Every compromise, every indulgence, every hidden tie to the old you must be chipped away day by day, decision by decision, until the new you stands clear and unbreakable. Anything less is not rising, it is decorating the cage. This is why the vow must be final. Not conditional, not partial, not temporary. Final. The old you is gone, the grave is sealed, the door is locked. No return, no exceptions, no compromise. It will cry out for you, it will beg for mercy, it will whisper that a little indulgence won't matter. But remember, destiny has no mercy for the divided. The climb has no tolerance for the double-minded. The summit belongs only to those who cut ties so completely that nothing remains to pull them back. And if you fear the cost, remember this. The cost of compromise is far greater. Compromise robs silently. It gives you the illusion of safety, the illusion of freedom, the illusion of strength, while in truth it drains your life until you are a shell of what you might have been. Do not be deceived. The old you is not a friend. It is not harmless. It is not sentimental. It is your executioner waiting for permission to strike. Do not grant it that permission. So the choice stands before you as it has from the beginning. Will you bury the old self completely, or will you allow compromise to resurrect it? If you bury it, you rise. If you allow compromise, you remain in chains. The law is not negotiable. It does not bend for comfort. It does not make exceptions for weakness. It stands eternal. The old must die for the new to live. And until you obey it fully, you will circle the same mountain year after year, calling it progress when it is only repetition. But if you obey, if you cut, if you bury, if you refuse compromise, you will rise into a life beyond anything the old self could have imagined. You will breathe air reserved for the few, see horizons hidden from the many, carry strength forged only in the fire of total surrender. And in that moment, you will not mourn the old you. You will thank God you had the courage to let it die, for the death of that shadow was the birth of your true self. So I leave you with the final vow, the seal upon this journey. Say it aloud, not as ritual, but as covenant. I am free, for the old me is dead forever. I am who I was meant to be, without compromise, without return. Write it, speak it, live it, until it is the marrow of your being. For when you declare it, the grave closes, the new life begins, and the rise is complete. And now the decision is yours. The words have been spoken, the law has been revealed. You can return to the grave of compromise, or you can step into the summit of destiny. The old you waits for you to falter. The new you waits for you to act. And life itself waits to see which voice you will obey. Choose wisely, for eternity remembers the choice you make today.